Right, last time around we made the exhaust system on this Civic and we said that we're going to do a titanium tip in the next episode. So that's what we're going to do today. We've got to make this little drop down piece that comes from the silencer. We're going to do that in stainless, and then the actual very end piece we're going to do as a titanium pie cut, and we'll just talk through some of the intricacies of doing titanium work and then some things you need to watch out for. So first thing we need to do is make this drop down piece in stainless. So I've got 2.5 inch Ice Engine Works blocks here, and we're actually going to make it in 3 inch, and we're going to weld it over the end of the silencer. So I've got two 45-degree bends clipped together, basically 6 15-degree segments set up as two 45s. I'm going to take a 3 inch bend, cut it in half to get my 45, rotate it. That'll give me the perfect step down, and then I can work out how long of a tip piece I need. So if you need to make two 45-degree bends, rather than buy two 45-degree bends, you can buy 190 and just cut it in half. With a bandsaw, it's super easy. You just measure along the back of the bend, which on this bend is 278 mil, and then you cut that in half, basically just by marking a line at half of that, which is 139. Put a mark on there, put it in the saw and put the blade right on top of that mark, and it's going to cut you two perfect 45-degree bends. So I've cut these in half, and I've also cut a bit of the leg off. These bends have like about 20 mil of straight leg on the end, but of course we want to keep it tucked right into the back of the car so we can have more length for titanium basically. So got that cut, that's going to sit nicely there, and then this piece will essentially sleeve over there. So it'll be a little bit longer than this, and it'll sleeve over, and then we'll basically bolt it on. So what I need to do now is get these prepped, tacked together, get it marked up on the car, get it tacked on, and then start working on the titanium. Right, so we've got that tacked up, and this tip actually needs to sit off to the side a little bit, like a bit of an angle, so it lines up perfectly with the cutout and the bumper. So before I mark that position, I'm going to make the titanium tip up now. Now, I've got some off-the-shelf laser cut titanium pie cuts. This is the way most people will buy these. You can cut them yourself, but unless you've got a bandsaw, it's very difficult. You're not really going to cut these accurately any other way. So definitely go for laser cut pies if you can get them. They're available from lots of places now, and it'll save you so much time and like wear on the bandsaw blade and things like that. But what we do need to cut is the piece of straight that these are going to attach to. I know how long that's going to be, so we'll get to the saw and get it cut. So there's a few things to consider when you're welding and working with titanium really. The first thing is that everything needs to be perfectly clean, and that is like inside, out, on the seam edges, really, really clean. So what I will do is IPA, isopropanol, clean white rag, and then you'll see dirt come off, and then I'll clean it again with another portion of the rag until you basically don't see any dirt. And you need to do that on all the pieces you're going to work with and on your work surface, filler rods, clean gloves, everything. So you're not kind of dirtying the things you've just cleaned with dirty gloves. Next thing is that everything needs to be purged, including when you're doing tacks. So what I will do is as I stack up these pie cuts, I'll have a purge cap on one end, a purge cap on the other, and I will hold them together, tack them, take the purge cap off, next one on, and so on. These are the purge caps I'll be using. We do sell these in the Fabco store. There's loads of different kinds of this kind of thing now. Some work better than others. It depends on what you're using them for. You get like silicone plugs, which work better for some things. Caps work better for others. So it's good to have like a variation of these kinds of tools really. They're not expensive, but well, you need to have it for welding titanium. You need to back purge all your tacks. So that's what I'll do now. I'll get these all tacked together, and then we'll talk about purging them out and welding them. So that's got it all tacked up now, and that's just with fusion tacks, so not using any filler. So what I'll do now is I'll leave it to purge for a minute or so, because it's only a really short piece, so it won't take too long to actually purge. And then I'll go ahead and tack it again with filler this time, because I want to make sure that I've got some really strong tacks on there Otherwise, what can happen is it can actually pop apart as I start welding it, as the kind of metal starts to distort around a little bit. So I want to make sure it's really strongly tacked. So get some tacks on there with filler, and then I can begin to weld it. Again, filler rods need to be clean. I'll clean the part again before I begin the welding process, just to make sure that I'm not going to have any problems when I do begin to weld it. Right, so we've got the step down section and the tip welded up now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a stretch on here, or a swage, so that it actually slots over. That's one of the easiest ways to connect a titanium tip to a stainless steel exhaust. You'll kind of slip it over, and then you can clamp it on, which, depending on where the clamp's gonna sit, probably doesn't look that good. Or you can drill holes and then bolt and rivet it, or bolt or rivet it basically. On this one, we're gonna go with bolting it, because I think we're gonna maybe do some funky colored bolts or something like that after. But yeah, so I'm gonna stretch this out, use the swager. Again, most people at home might not have a swager. The other way of doing it is to buy a swaged piece, swaged stainless steel piece, which again we do sell in the store, and then you can swage it the other way. So you basically slip the stainless steel section over the titanium. That's the easiest way of doing it if you're at home. I've obviously got the luxury of this, so I'm going to stretch the titanium out, slip it over. Right, so what I'm going to do now is try and set this kind of the angle that it's kinked over at. So we want to get this tip bang on in the middle of the cutout. So that looks to be pretty much in the middle as far as I can see from directly under. Then I'm just going to mark it onto the silencer so I know which orientation it is when I take it over to the bench. Then we'll get that welded on, and then it's just drilling some holes in here. Right, so always best practice if you can to polish the titanium before you propane it. It just helps give it a little bit of gloss underneath that kind of propane shine. It's hard to explain, but yeah, if you don't polish it, it just comes out looking a bit matte, so it's worth spending a bit of time if you can. You can just get these adapters that go on a bench grinder. This is a proper polisher, it's a bit more torquey, but I've just got a normal sizzle mop and then a medium cut Menzerner compound. And to be honest, 10 minutes with this and it makes a big difference. So it's definitely worth doing if you can. that's it, all polished up and propaned. So the key really with that is just to take your time with the polishing and with the propane. You just want to try and build the heat into the part slowly, so then it becomes a more controlled finish. There is a bit of a skill to it, I guess, but yeah, it really is just about like take your time, build the heat into it slowly, and then you'll be able to get that nice consistent finish. So yeah, just missing the bolts now, and then we're all sorted. If you liked watching this video, give us a thumbs up, make sure you subscribed. Any questions, stick them down below.